Jane, New York, the great WABC. Go.
Well, how are you?
Very well.
I wanted to let you know how you and your organization...
You're the former staffer on Capitol Hill.
And I worked in federal agencies as well, yes.
All right.
So I want to tell you, because the people on the Hill may not know this if they've not worked in a federal agency and been through this process. But I want to tell you how you can get the list of names of people who approved the survey form within the IRS, the Treasury Department, and then this would have to go to be approved by OMB, the Office of Management and Budget. By statute, when a federal agency develops any kind of form that has to be completed by the public, it has to go through an internal process that has, and this is true of every agency I worked in, there's a cover sheet where people sign it from the author, the originator, their branch chief or section chief, their division chief, and then you get into all the politicals that have to sign off on this, because this has at least, my experience in different agencies, 3 or 4 levels of politicals have to sign off on this document, the survey document, any document filled out by a person from the public. And once it goes through political clearance and you get all the comments back and you incorporate those and you meet with the final person, then it goes over to the Office of Management and Budget for review.
Well, let me say this to you, Jane. Let me slow you down. I have the letter in front of me. I have the form in front of me. And you're correct about that. And your point is OMB works directly for the President of the United States, so more people would know about it than don't. But I'm looking at it, and guess what it does not have?
It does not have an OMB number.
That's correct. A complete rogue operation.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I've seen this before. If it does not have an OMB number, then what they were doing was political seat cover. And the way you can get at that is to watch the Office of Inspector General, and you can start with the lady who made the announcement on Friday. But you can start, they can, if they did their jobs well, they would have gone in and gotten all of her email contacts and found out who she was.
We're going to run out of time. Let me tell you, as somebody who's had to pursue investigations before, let me tell you, in this letter that I have, Jane, the names of the individuals are blacked out, you know. The phone numbers are blacked out, but the agency has this without the redactions. Congress can easily get this, as I'm sure the Inspector General did. They can work this investigation from the top down and the bottom up. This is all handed to them on a platinum platter. You know, we have names, we have phone numbers, I have fax numbers. They're all, you know, as I say, they're redacted, but in the originals they're not, and they're easy to acquire. And also, they do have a letter number at the bottom, letter 1312. So the extent to which this letter was circulated within the IRS and used by the IRS would also be relatively easy to determine.
Yeah, it would. All you have to do is get the clearance sheet and find out who the politicals were that signed off on it.
So this letter was attached to our filing with the Inspector General's office over a year ago. So why do you think these committees didn't do it?
I fear for our republic. I fear that Boehner is sitting there thinking, and I've heard this from several people in this town, that if they are pretty passive and low-key, then they will at least hang on to the House. And I fear that he's going to be so passive, they're going to lose the House because they're not putting the information in front of the American public so that they know how corrupt this particular administration is. I'm sure you've heard this. I know you have contacts throughout the government. This is the most corrupt, and I'm talking Clinton was bad. Clinton had grade 9, GS9 political appointees.
In other words, he was sticking political people into civil service slots.
Well, they weren't civil service positions, but they were so low level they couldn't qualify for anything but a GS9 level. I mean, they were still giving an accepted political appointment under accepted service. Mm-hmm. They were given a political appointment, but it was at a GS9 pay level because that's all they could qualify for.
All right, Jane, stay in touch with us. We appreciate your input. We really do. Ladies and